We played basketball with a tennis ball.
The girls too?
We'd use a tennis ball, put a can on the garage.
What about the girls?
The girls would play hopscotch.
Elizabeth would play hopscotch probably.
Hopscotch, skating,
Yeah.
roller skate.
Jump rope?
So did my mother graduate from high school? She did. She graduated.
Oh, your
from-
mother should.
Yeah, was she a good student?
I think she was a good student.
Yeah.
And I think Bookie was a good student.
Well, Bookie went to college though, right?
You know, I don't remember if he went to college.
I know that my mother and auntie weren't allowed to go
Why is that?
because
I
they were
don't know.
girls.
Oh, because they were girls.
They didn't need an education. Isn't that right, Eileen?
Right.
I don't know.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to, I didn't go to college formally. I was working, saving money to go to college. But I went into the Army for 1 year and stayed 5. And when I came out, I would have gone into medicine, but I was too old.
Really?
So I went to work. And I always did very well. I'm the only one in the family that didn't have his own business. And I was working, at one point, I was going to open up a store of my own. I was a buyer for the May Company, and I bought 3 departments. I bought the floor coverings, linens, beddings, and domestics, and curtains and draperies. And there was a new shopping center that was just starting in Akron, Ohio. And I had a blind do for me. And he got the space, and I said, I need a place with 2 floors. And they built the building, and I had to make a layout for those 2 floors. They're still there, down in off of Tuscarawas. That was the first shopping center in Akron.
Really?
And then there was a company in there that didn't want me there because they were afraid of the competition. And I had the name, the homemaker shop, the whole bit. And I was going to put the carpet in the basement and the other stuff on the main floor. And I had the resources all set to go. Companies said, we'll send you whatever you need and you'll pay us as you sell it.
Did you find much discrimination because you were Jewish?
Not at all. I never did have any discrimination. I only had one incident, actually, where a big Texan in our outfit got drunk one night. And he came back to the tent, and he is really crucifying all the Jews, everything that you can imagine. And he was twice as big as me, but I went up to him, and I asked him, I said, what did you Jews ever do to you that you feel like you do about them? And he said, Doc, he said, I have to tell you this, I never met a Jew. This is what my friends tell me. So I said, well, in case you don't know it, you're talking to one. He said, you're a white one. I'll never forget that. And I said, what's the difference if I'm white or pink or blue? I'm still the same guy. And I said, your life might depend on me someday. He never did because he left the outfit. Probably went back where it was safer. And I had an opportunity to get out 3 different times out of combat. And I said, no, I'm going to stay with these guys and let the chips fall where they will. Because I didn't know my own strength. And number one, the fact that I was Jewish was part of it, because I wanted to let them know that I could take it as much as they can. Because when they were resting, I was patching blisters. And when they were wounded, I was patching them up.
So you were a medic?
I was a frontline combat medic. I have 4 Bronze Stars. I called the government to ask them what I did because my children asked me what I did. I said, I can't tell them what I did. Can you tell me what I did? What did I get these certificates for?
What did
And
they
they
say?
said, what's your serial number? And I give them the serial number and stuff. And she came back, she said, you're supposed to have 4 Bronze Stars and a unit citation. I said, I have it, but what are they for? She said, we're not allowed to tell you. So I still don't know.
You'll never know. They probably don't know either.
Right. But I had one kid that I carried, and Tom, if he wants, I'll tell him the story. That's okay. There was one kid that got hit after I did, when we were going to the crest of the hill. And when there was an open field, and we had to cross it. I crossed it. We were single file, you'd run across, then you'd get behind your troops. And then after I got across, I heard the crack of a bullet behind me, and I turned around and I saw Frank Malloy fall to the ground.
Oh, did you move your car?
And when I went, I automatically went back to work on him. And there was no blood. And the bullet went up in his upper chest and came out his lower back. So he was hit by a sniper in a tree. And we could get nothing out of him. He was stiff as a board and everything. But then we figured out he was dead. We were going to put the bullet in his rifle with a bayonet on it to pick him up for burial. And what made me look down, I'll never know. But I looked back down at him to sort of get him filmed and cover him with my raincoat because it was raining. And he made the sign of the cross on himself. And I said, he's not dead. So I called another guy over to help me. And we carried him back to the aid station. I said, we leave him here, we're going to bury him alive. So we carried him to the aid station, which was about 50 yards. And the medical officer said, over there with the dead ones. I said, Captain, he's not dead. And I told him the story about he says, I know he's a friend of yours over there. So the guy I have with me is an Italian guy, another good Catholic. And I said, there's an empty litter there. You get the litter, I've got the tags. I'll tag him, and there's a half track going out with the wounded. And you and I'll put him on that half track, which we did. About 3-4 months later, I get a letter from my mother. She got a letter from this guy that saved his life. He could hear everything we were saying, but he could not answer us. And if we'd have just carried him in like that, we'd have gotten a Silver Star or a Distinguished Service Cross for carrying him while there was artillery and everything coming in, and we're walking, carrying him one by the legs and one by the feet. But because when I disobeyed the order, I put him on the half track instead of with the dead. I couldn't say anything. So it went by, and then when I got married, he was from Philadelphia. I told Betty, I said, we're going to go to New York on our honeymoon because I have to stop in Philadelphia and see somebody. And we stopped in to see him. Everybody cried. He married her nurse. He had 3 beautiful daughters. And Doug found him.
You're right.
And he lived for
What
about
was his
15
name?
Frank Malloy. And he lived for about 15 years after that. Barry, take care.
All right.
You too.